Hello, sports movie fans, and welcome to Locker Room Flicks podcast. I'm your host, Steve Lant, and today we have an excellent show for you. But as first, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Frank the Tank Sullivan. Frank, how are you today?
What's going on, everyone?
We're getting a lot of good feedback here, man. I think we're starting to pick up a little momentum.
Little steam. Yeah, we got some good reviews in too.
Absolutely. Do we have those reviews, Frank? I'm putting you on the spot.
I put them up. I posted them on our Facebook group.
All right. So if you want to hear the reviews, if you want to look at the reviews, either go to Apple Podcasts and read them, or go to Facebook. Go to our Facebook group, Locker Room Flicks Podcast, and you can see them there. One of these days we'll read a couple of them because they are pretty good.
We got a few great ones, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So as mentioned in our previous podcast, this week we're going to do Mighty Ducks, the first Mighty Ducks movie.
Yep.
And it box office info, it came out opening weekend, did a little over 6 million worldwide, and almost 51 million worldwide total. Came out in 1992. Did not win any awards, any Oscars or anything like that. Directed by Stephen Herek. It's about a self-centered Minnesota lawyer who is sentenced to community service coaching a ragtag youth hockey team. So it's the Minnesota lawyer is Emilio Estevez, played by Emilio Estevez. I watched it on Disney Plus. Where did you watch it, Frank?
Yeah, I did the same. I watched it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they have all the movies on here.
Yeah, they got the second one and the third one.
Yeah, which do you want to get into that now, or we have a guest? We have a special guest here.
Yes, we do. Just for this time.
So just to before we get into our next segment, do we want to talk about the differences between the sequels, or we can get into that at the end?
No, we'll get into that in another episode.
All right, sounds good.
Let's get this one in.
So without further ado, our next segment. Everyone wanted to hear Casey singing.
There you go.
And there you go, folks.
I hear enough of her singing. Okay, now you can go ahead and leave.
The neighbors can hear us. Shout out to the neighbors.
If they're listening, and we know you are.
So special thanks to Casey, Frank's wife, on that one.
Bye.
So now let me let's get into it now.
So Frank's 5 fun facts, as Casey introduced.
I can't wait for this.
I can't wait for this. This is going to be a good one.
Okay. Number one. So the original premise of the movie was much darker, with very little comedy. It was supposed to be about an ex-NHL player turned alcoholic who seeks revenge on his old coach by coaching opposite of him.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I mean, isn't that far-fetched because he ends up getting a DUI?
Yeah.
Which is...
Yeah, like literally drinking in the car and throwing the bottles in the back.
He's also drinking, it was also like snowing out, and, this is Minnesota, so I'm sure it wasn't no flurry.
No. Yeah, it wasn't. It was,
we also don't condone drinking and driving, just for everyone to know.
Absolutely not. I mean, we could get into it later, but I mean, this is a Disney movie, and they had some pretty heavy stuff going on in this movie.
Yes,
I can't wait to talk about.
Yeah. So
was it always called? It wasn't called the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, it was. I believe it was always going to be Mighty Ducks. I didn't really look into a different title or anything like that.
I'd love to see the alternate universe where it's a little darker.
Coach Gordon Bombay is a alcoholic.
Yeah, and see what happens.
Yeah,
they did offer him the tryout in the minor league team. Remember when they went to go see the North Stars?
They do, and well, I mean that goes right into the second movie if you remember. You don't remember it?
Which second movie?
Second Mighty Ducks.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, when he gets offered a position, right?
Yeah. We'll touch base on that on the second episode we do for Mighty Ducks.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, that was a good fact number one. Let's see, what do you got going for number two?
Number two, when the Anaheim Mighty Ducks were added as an expansion team to the NHL, they were named after the movie because of the team. The team was owned by Disney. However, prior to the 2005-2006 NHL season, the Ducks dropped Mighty from their name and are now known as the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
So just a little bit of a fact about the NHL team.
Yep.
Which is kind of funny too, because you know what else is in Anaheim, right?
The Angels.
Disneyland.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean, it would make sense for them to kind of own everything in Anaheim.
That's true.
Have you ever been to Disneyland or Disney World?
You know what? I haven't.
Neither one, huh?
No, I haven't taken my kids. We talk about it all the time, but like
your kids are at a great age now too. They're old enough that they're gonna go on all the rides.
See, we're not big ride family. Actually,
no.
If my son listens, which he doesn't,
which we know you are.
Yeah, my son went to the local carnival and let's just say got a little sick on one of the rides. So that was just at the local carnival. But there's a lot of walking around and stuff. You know, we're more of the beach going family.
I know for you guys, you know, it's going to cost a small fortune because
that too, yeah. Let alone just the money alone.
Yeah. So my my aunt, shout out Aunt Linda, Uncle Frank.
There you go.
She actually worked at a Disney store in one of the malls in Connecticut, and so she was the manager there. So this was back in the day. This was like, I don't know, the 90s when I was a kid, and she would get free tickets every 6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a perk of being a manager at the Disney store. Because I remember those Disney stores, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. I think there's one left in the Danbury Mall, or it might be one. There's not too many left. I know a lot of them went out.
Yeah. Well, with the internet and all that.
Yeah. But so we've actually been several times. We actually went on a honeymoon to Disney.
Disney World or Land?
Disney World. Yeah, no, I've never been to Disneyland. It'd be nice to go one of these days. But
yeah, because that's the original one.
Yeah, Disney World's the good one though. I believe.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
You have to take my word for it.
I will. I'll take your word. I trust you.
Okay.
I trust you. All right. That's good. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
What else we got?
So fact 3. So this is going into some of the cast. All right.
Okay.
Some of the actors considered for the coach for Gordon Bombay were Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Michael J. Fox, Charlie Sheen, and Bill Murray.
Wow. Those are huge names.
Huge. Well, I guess, they said something about Bill Murray being too old.
Okay.
I could see that. But I got to be honest with you, I can easily see Charlie Sheen.
I can see Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez have actually done a bunch of stuff together, and they're related, right?
They're related, they're brothers. So I mean, So I could definitely see that. I can definitely see Michael J. Fox, doing that role, and I can definitely see Tom Cruise.
You can see Tom Cruise doing that? I don't know if I can see Tom Cruise doing that.
Well, I think of, what Gordon Bombay ultimately plays as, in the first part of the movie, is a sleazy lawyer who's, kind of win at all costs. I can absolutely see every single one of them just, hair slicked back, smooth talking, lawyer.
Okay.
I can't see Tom Hanks, though.
I can't see Tom Hanks, definitely
no.
not. Definitely not. Definitely, and then to that point, then I can't see Bill Murray besides the age thing.
You think Emilio Estevez was cheaper? Maybe
that could be possibly it.
But you got to realize too.
It was 92. I'm trying to think of what other movies are going on right now for those other guys.
That's very true. I mean, they both were pretty. I mean, The Breakfast Club. I mean, he knocked it out of the park for Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club is awesome.
And then he also was in it was in The Outsiders too. So it's not like he was a no name,
No,
right?
no. Emilio Estevez? No, not at all.
So at the time of '92, who was a bigger actor? Probably Charlie Sheen. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. I would say. Um,
Because he was in Platoon too.
Charlie
But
Sheen was in
I'm not sure
Platoon.
what
He's
year that
Major.
came out.
That was in the maybe
80,
88,
80s? I don't know.
88 or something. I mean, Tom Hanks is about to blow it up because the 90s was his decade.
Well, I think didn't Big come out in '89 or something like that, or like early
Big came
90s?
out in, I want to say, I think you're right, in 89, the 89, 88 area.
It's a great movie too.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I think Tom Cruise is already big at that point. I think he's too big for this.
Yeah.
I just can't see Tom Cruise in a Disney movie. You know,
Mm-mm.
I think he's more of a serious.
I'm not a big fan of him, to be honest with you. As an I don't know. I don't see him as an action star. That's just my opinion.
You don't see Tom Cruise as an action star?
I don't know. I really didn't care for any of the Mission Impossibles. I'm sure they're great and they got a lot of good buzz around them.
Yeah,
I've maybe seen the first one, maybe the second one, but after that,
what about Top Gun?
I've seen Top Gun. I hear the second. I hear the. I was gonna call it a remake.
Yeah, it's a sequel. Yeah,
the sequel. I hear the second one's pretty good too.
Yeah, I keep hearing that too.
Yeah, I also have another fact about this. This follows in the same fun fact.
Okay.
So Joshua Jackson, who plays Charlie Conway, beat out Leonardo DiCaprio and Jake Gyllenhaal for the role.
Wow.
Now, Jake Gyllenhaal, I guess, was like a nobody at the time, or a no, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
wasn't really found yet.
Yeah,
but
DiCaprio, I'm pretty sure was.
Oh yeah.
In
well, again, we have to look up their IMDb, Internet Movie Database. I can't say that right now, but I mean, Gilbert Grape, was that before or after? I don't know.
I want to say that was like more mid '90s. I'm gonna start
because you got to be young too. You got to look up his because he was on what's this the TV show?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. Growing Pains. And I think that's where he really got his start, right?
Yeah, probably. He had to be, but the kids in here were pretty young. I mean, they were like what, 11?
Well, they're supposed to be like 9 and 10. You know, but they definitely look older than that.
He looked older in Growing Pains. I mean, Growing Pains, he had to be like what, 12, 13? And he probably had to be close to the same age in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He might have even been older in What's Eating.
So he was born in 74. So in 92, he was 18.
Oh my God. So he was too old.
He was way too old for that.
Yeah.
Way too old. Let me see when he did What's Eating Gilbert Grape. What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Yeah, it's got to be before then.
Yeah, I would think so. Growing Pains, he was on in 92. Oh, he was on Growing Pains in 92.
Okay.
Really?
I don't think he was on for that long, but I mean, I know it had to be a season or two.
Okay, so What's Eating Gilbert Grape is 93.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball Diaries is 95.
Because
that's his next big movie after What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, again, it's interesting.
It is interesting.
And Joshua Jackson had a pretty decent career after this.
What was he in?
I know he was in Dawson's Creek.
Oh, I was gonna say you looked. I never watched that, but
I've never seen it either. Really, I know of it. I know my cousin was like obsessed with it.
Really?
The show, yeah. But I think he had a pretty decent career after that. I mean, obviously he's not, he's no Jake Gyllenhaal or Leonardo DiCaprio, but
yeah. So he did a lot of. Looks like he did a lot of TV.
He was just in this recent show. About I don't know if you've seen it. I think it was on Hulu. He played a doctor who did all these Death? Yeah, that's it. I heard. Did I watch that? No, I did not watch. Casey watched it. It's a pretty good Is it under miniseries?
Miniseries, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
But
All right.
anyways, as we continue,
Yep.
fact number 4: Gordon Bombay is named after 2 famous gin brands, Gordon's and Bombay, which I guess that was
So
that was in the
I'm-
original that was in the original script. Sorry.
So Gordon Bombay, I'm guessing the actor or the writer was a big gin fan.
I guess I would assume so. Seems like a weird
Like,
name to name somebody after gin, but
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I guess whatever works, right?
You like gin or no?
Nah, I'm not a big gin drinker.
Yeah, me neither.
No.
I'm not a big drinker in general, but
Yeah, same here.
definitely not gin.
Yeah.
All right.
And my last fact: the scene where Gordon kisses Charlie's mom, the temperature was actually so cold it was at -55.
Negative 55.
Yes, and their
Holy
lips.
Crap.
Yeah, their lips froze together, and they had to get makeup to put, I guess, warm droplets of water on their lips so that it would separate. It's pretty wild.
That is wild.
It's
What
that
do you?
Minnesota weather?
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, come on, you can't wait another day or something, or to let's put this off until
I think I was
closer
looking up
to zero.
I know. I was looking up the shooting. I think they shot this movie pretty quick. I
Did
could
they?
be wrong, but
So
yeah,
they had
I guess
they had
it's
to get
just-
it in. They had to get that scene in, I guess.
I mean, again, you're shooting in Minnesota. I think you got to take what you can get, right?
Yeah, but -55. Holy crap!
Have you
That's
ever been
cold,
to Minnesota?
Have I ever been to Minnesota?
How far north have you been?
I think I've been. If I did, I just drove through it. I might have drove
Okay.
through it going across country one time.
Because I
But I
mean,
never-
Wisconsin. I've been to a few Wisconsin games, and
Oh, okay.
I mean, it can get brutal up there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It gets cold there. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I've been to Colorado, but I was in
guess-
December. It wasn't too bad.
Really.
Yeah, I've been to Denver.
And those are my facts.
Frank's
We should
5 fun
we should
facts.
have her record an out
An
So,
outro. I was just
yeah.
thinking the same thing. Yeah,
next episode.
and yeah, we'll slowly build on it.
What
right.
what were some of your favorite quotes?
Favorite quotes. I didn't have a whole lot of favorite quotes. I mean,
No, there's not. I kind of noticed that too. That there's not too many. I don't know. For some reason, you would think there would be, but
yeah, I mean, obviously, there's like the flying V. You always
Mhm.
say
Yep.
that at a hockey game or something, and then the quack quack quack. Obviously, the
Mhm.
quack chant. But there, let me just get into a couple of not quotes, but
I got a few that
you got a few quotes. All right, and then
Yeah, I
I'll
got a
get
few
into my
quotes
thing.
that I just kind of thought were funny. In the beginning, when Gordon he's meeting the kids, he's driving. They're driving the limo up on the ice,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he says, "I hate kids; they're barely human."
yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, he definitely is like anti-kid, Of course, like
Well, again, he's a
they're playing it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, before we go any further,
Yeah.
how old do you think he's supposed to be in this movie? Because I was thinking about this while I was watching it.
Well, we'll see here. He's got to be in how old is he in real life, or how old is he
No.
supposed to be in the movie?
It's supposed to be in the movie.
I don't know. He's got to be in his mid-20s.
So
Maybe not. I don't know.
I think here, and I'll tell you my logic. I think he's supposed to be around 29, 30.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because in the very beginning, when they're doing, the credits and all that, and you
Uh-huh.
hear the announcer, saying, "Oh, Gordon Bombay," I'm pretty sure they say 9-year-old Gordon Bombay. Okay,
Mhm.
so he's
Oh,
9
it
there.
says like 20 years later.
Well, it doesn't say 20 years later. It says, it's 93 or 92 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you see that yellow banner that says second place for the Hawks, and that was 1973, and it's 1993 or two or whatever.
So you just did a little bit of rough
still
math.
a little bit of quick math,
Yeah.
rough math. So, which I always, when you're growing up watching this, you don't think 29, like you think they're a lot older than that.
No, absolutely. Well, you figure he just passed the bar. Probably he's like, I don't want to say he's not right out of college because
he's got a 30-1 record.
That was one of my things I noted.
Yeah.
So he's still rather new, but not that new.
Right. He's not fresh out of law school.
No, he's not. No, so he's got some years under his belt.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's obviously because Mr. Ducksworth gives him like a leave of absence because he's been working so hard.
Yeah.
Like too hard.
I thought that was funny. He got a he got a leave of absence, a driver. He's able to keep his salary. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. After getting a DUI while he's drinking and driving.
Well, he also, because I had to know what else he got. He suspended his license. He got probation, and he had to do 500 hours of community service. Oh no, where did it? Right here.
Yeah. I think you're right. 500 hours.
He got like reckless endangerment, I believe.
Yeah.
So he got hit with a bunch of fines, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But for the firm to give him all of that stuff, you're absolutely right. Like
again, he's 30-0 in his cases. He's a winner.
Yeah. So, but one thing, like, this movie was kind of like very adult in ways. Like, they talk about blue balls. Like the kids, I don't know if you remember the scene when they're in science class.
Yeah.
They're talking about atoms.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the guy says, the red balls are this, and the blue. What are the blue balls? And they all start laughing. Like,
yeah,
what 9-year-old kid knows what blue balls are?
If you notice, like all the kids, like every time they show them, like out, like not in school, they look like a bunch of like Rugrat like punks. They all got leather jackets on.
Yeah,
hats and whatever you want to call it. They all look like a bunch of
like tough guys,
Yeah,
a bunch of misfits.
Misfits,
stuff. Yeah. Another thing, they kind of throw a little. I don't want to. They kind of throw a little racism in here. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I did. I picked it up. Yeah.
Yeah. The Oreo line. Like,
yeah,
really?
Well, that's what, and the the final scene, he throws in the Oreo line, and they do the flying V.
Yeah.
Because it's the two brothers.
Right.
I forget their names.
I want to say it's Terrence and something else.
It's I believe it's Jermaine, and I forget the other brother because he's not in it. His other brother. In the second one.
Sorry. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and he he throws in the Oreo line, but I believe the kid said it first.
Oh, absolutely! It was the kid on the Hawks said it first.
Yeah,
because what is this, the Oreo line? Like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, dude! But whatever, man. It was crazy. Like, this is a Disney movie. What else? There was one other thing. There was a blue balls. I can't remember the other thing.
No.
But like every Disney movie has a parent dying. Gordon Bombay's father died.
And did you catch the father figure? Another movie about a father figure not being there.
Yep.
Gordon ends up becoming kind of pretty much like a father figure to Charlie.
Yep. Absolutely.
His father died, so it's all about kind of like.
And Charlie's father, they said they left the father. Like the father didn't walk out. The mother and the father left, or the mother and Charlie left.
Yeah,
the father for whatever reason. Yeah. So,
well, and I think it starts. It starts when we were kids. We all played sports with our fathers. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's not to say that I'm not playing basketball with my mom out there, which I mean I'm sure women play sports too,
Yeah.
but it seems like the majority of the movies and it's about us, having a catch with with our fathers, or shooting the ball around with our dads.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Um, you know, Mr. Ducksworth. Let's talk about him for a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a really good man if you think about it. Well, up until he fires him.
Yeah.
Up until he fires Gordon for trying to play by the rules.
Yeah, and it's funny because he gave him this big speech about how, he's like, it's how you win in the courtroom. It's almost like he wanted him to play fair in the courtroom, but yet, you know, we end up finding out that Adam Banks, who ends up going over to the Ducks from the Hawks,
Right.
they're all chummy. The father's chummy with the attorney, with his boss, and
Yeah.
they're all trying to get him to just sign this paper, and he'll go back to the Hawks and all this other stuff. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's kind of a hypocrite
Oh yeah,
in that sense. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of a hypocrite in that you you shouldn't be doing this, and then he does it anyway. He tries to win at all costs. I thought it was kind of weird that the father, of Adam Banks was still cheering for the Hawks, like when Banks was on the Ducks, like in the championship game.
Well, yeah, and he just kind of wanted to stick it to Gordon, I think.
But then he's like, oh, I want my son to play with all his friends and all this other crap. Yet his
Which
so-called
makes sense.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
But then his so-called friends, take Banks out during the championship game.
Let me tell you, he takes a beating in this movie, and even in the second movie. And I won't go into that, but I mean, he basically they end up pulling him out on a stretcher
with a neck brace on.
With a neck brace, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the kid could have been seriously hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's kind of, if you think about it, kind of very
for a Disney movie. It's
kind
got
of
some adult themes for sure.
It definitely does. Does. What about so targeting Banks in the championship game, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little about the gameplay in the championship game specifically.
Yeah,
Goldberg really wasn't up to his game in the he really wasn't playing well.
Well, this is something I kind of noted with all the hockey play is like, they're absolutely terrible, right?
The Ducks
in the beginning, yeah. The
District 5.
Yeah, and it seems like they just go from 0 to 100, and now they're just. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it happens, but like they go from 0 to 100, and they're playing great, they're scoring, and it just and they make it. Granted, like it's easy to make it to the playoffs because they were going through the whole. Pretty much every team makes it in the playoffs except for like the last two, I think it was.
The last two, and the Panthers got the measles.
Yeah, so
they're out.
Team, yeah. So obviously to make the playoffs was easy, but it's kind of like they do like a whole 180 overnight.
Yeah.
And
after, going through their ups and downs as a team, with Bombay, obviously calls them losers and all this other stuff but he was it was taken out of context, obviously.
Yeah.
But some of the Ducks overheard him and they all quit the team and forfeited the game, which put their playoffs in jeopardy. So,
well, also, mentally, they also had to be kind of, I don't know, say some of them might have been checked out too.
Oh, yeah.
And to kind of do, like I said, a 180. And these are kids,
Yeah. These are kids. I mean, listen, I see it all the time with my sons and stuff like that. Like, there's some teams out there that really push it to the limit. You know,
I believe it. Yeah,
and
he's telling them all that. At one point, he's telling them all to take the fall and act hurt.
oh, Bombay,
Yeah.
yeah. That's when he's
Mm-hmm.
That's when he really. That's when Charlie Conway.
Yep.
Basically told him to go stick it and walked out. You know, and Bombay goes and sees Hans. He
Which
gives him the magical skates, has him skate again, and
I think that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Okay.
Is when not necessarily when he goes to Hans, but I think it's kind of the turning point of the movie, because he gives him the skates, and then the next scene is you see him just putting the skates on. He's in this little pond, and it's just him and the skates and the and the ice, and he's skating around, and it's almost like he's falling back in love with hockey.
Right.
Because if you caught in the beginning of the movie, somebody wanted to give him tickets to like a hockey game.
Yep.
And he kind of just he's like, yeah, hockey, whatever. Like, it's like a waste of time.
I hate hockey. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like I said, I believe that's one of my favorite scenes. And, you don't, it's very quiet. He's just got the kind of the little, the music kind of playing in the background. And then, you see him kind of just laying on the ground in the snow. Just kind of reflecting and kind of, I guess, going back to his childhood.
Yeah. I mean, back when he enjoyed it, because they do have another flashback scene where, he's on the ice with his father, and he's showing his father all his different moves, and his dad's like, all right, let's go in, and he's like, come on, Dad, a couple more minutes, and he's like, all right, yeah, no problem, you do that, which was great, and I think that's probably maybe what he was reflecting on and remembering what he loved about that,
Yeah, no, I agree.
So yeah, kids can get burned out real easily, man. Kids can get burned out real quick if it's not fun, and B,
emotionally,
emotionally, kids are a wreck at that age. And fortunately, my son's coaches all are great, and they keep it fun for them, and they don't really, they try to keep the pressure low or to a minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, they want them to understand, listen, you got to, part of having fun is getting better at playing the game and learning the game and stuff like that. But do you see plenty of, like I just said before, do you see plenty of teams out there that are just all about, all right, let's get the win. Let's, you see these kids are like, some of them don't even make it to high school because they're like, nah, I don't want to play anymore. I'm burnt out.
And, I think as far as, casting with the kids, I think they did a wonderful job casting all the kids. One of my favorite characters is the little kid, Peter.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? He's the shortest out of all of them.
Yeah.
But he's one of the toughest. And he ends up, I think it was the scene where they end up quitting. And he's like, he's like the first one that quits.
Okay.
And he walks out of the locker room, and he gives Gordon like a little like shoulder check on the way out.
Yeah.
I thought it was just funny with him, and I Goldberg is funny as well. The scene where he ties him to the net, and they all shooting pucks at him.
Yeah, that's like the turning point for Goldberg.
Yeah,
because he realizes.
And it's funny too. I think they didn't realize how funny he was and how great of a character he would be, because the second one he's got a pivotal role.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he has way more like dialogue. He didn't really talk too much in this.
No, he didn't.
No.
He just had little bit parts here and there. Yeah, I thought they did a great job casting, and the kids did great. I think it. I think it. You know, obviously it was the '90s, so there's certain things in there that like the type. There's a typewriter. There's a car phone. I mean, I don't know if you remember car phones back in the day.
Yeah, no, not really. You know what's
Like
funny? We actually caught. It looks like a cigarette machine in the locker room. I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't, but I'm not surprised.
I mean, it was like it wasn't a vending machine. Like it looked like I remember those briefly.
Yeah. Oh, I remember cigarette machines. Absolutely.
And I mean, the time period is kind of funny, because even too, like the limo driver
Yeah.
ends up driving the van, and then he's recording all of the games, and he's got the giant
The
camcorder,
giant camcorder.
I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, on his shoulder.
Yep.
Yeah,
Probably,
but
probably weighs like 40 pounds.
Yeah, I remember those things too. But my point is, I think it stands the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the period, other than it just knowing it's the '90s, I think it's a good movie that stands the test of time, and like it's a good movie you can watch.
Oh,
like
for sure.
My kids love it. They watched all the movies and the series and all that stuff.
Yep.
Which
I
is,
wanted
which is great.
Briefly talk about the NHL game that they go to.
Sure. Yeah.
Did you check into any of that? Because I did. I did a deep dive on that. That game.
Oh, okay. You did a deep dive on the game that they were watching?
I absolutely did. The pro game that they all go to.
Yeah. The Minnesota North Stars, who don't exist anymore, they're now the Dallas Stars.
That's exactly what I was going to. So I had to find out why they moved, and there's a whole backstory behind that. I have it.
You do? Because I remember when they moved, but I might have been too young to realize what was going on.
Well, and the other team were the Hartford Whalers, which is Hartford, Connecticut.
Well, I was going to say you should know them.
I've definitely been to a game or two when I was a kid. I don't remember it.
Okay.
But they were pretty. I don't say they weren't that popular, because part of the reason why they stopped becoming a team is because of attendance and
Right. Now, did they? I can't remember. Did the Whalers fold or did they move?
I believe they folded. Don't quote me on that. I didn't really look into the Whalers because I found a bunch of info about the Stars.
Because I'm trying to think of who the Avalanche used to be. Because the Avalanche are definitely a team that moved from somewhere. All right, so keep going with your thing.
Well, so the Stars were a pro team from 1967 to 93. And over that period, they made the playoffs 17 times, but they never won a Stanley Cup.
Okay.
They moved to Dallas, and then they were known as the Dallas Stars. So they moved. I guess they moved in 1993. So in 1992, the owner of the Stars, Norm Green. I can't say that. Norm Green.
Okay.
Was trying to arrange a deal to move the team to Los Angeles. But little did they know that Disney at the time was already in negotiations for the Mighty Ducks, or the Anaheim Ducks, as we call them now.
Yep.
Their
official name was the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim.
Yeah.
That was their official first name. Okay, sorry.
No, I just thought it was funny how the Minnesota that NHL team kind of related to the Mighty Ducks movie,
Yeah.
And they left because of falling attendance, losing seasons. They failed to reach a new deal for a new stadium, and supposedly there was a sexual harassment lawsuit against the owner.
Oh, geez.
And the wife threatened to leave unless they moved the team.
Really?
I don't know how much that plays into it, but that's just kind of some of the research I found.
That's great.
That's what it was.
No, that's great. Because I just quick looked up. I stand corrected on the Whalers becoming the Avalanche. It was the Whalers became the Carolina Hurricanes.
I think I did find that. Yeah, I think that might have been in my notes. I'm gonna get kicked in the butt because I know my brother-in-law is a huge huge hockey fan. Shout out James.
Oh, he's going to be screaming at you. Screaming.
I know he's going to be screaming at me. He played, all through high school and college, and but again, like I said, never really cared for hockey as much as other sports.
No.
I like to go see live games. I definitely in high school, my town that I went to high school with, Hamden High, they were known like a hockey team. They were known for we always made the playoffs. They won a lot of championships. So I know like my senior year, I went to all hockey games.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I can't tell you how they finished, but
yeah. Hockey games are fun, man, in person, like you said. Just to close the loop, the Colorado Avalanche, and I should have known this. They used to be the Quebec Nordiques. The Quebec Nordiques, but they moved in 1995, so to Colorado.
Nice.
So
very good.
What did you like? What did you like about the movie? What did you not like about the movie?
I guess what I liked again. I liked the cast. I think all the kids. It was cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as what I didn't like, again, I go into like the hockey play.
Right.
I didn't like that. Just kind of like it did a complete 180 overnight, and now they're this this great team now.
Right. Exactly.
To overcome some like you said, the emotional, the physical, like they were awful.
Yeah.
They were practicing. He meets them. They were practicing on a pond.
Yeah.
They didn't have any. Like the equipment they had no equipment.
Oh, it was just like all pieced together, like football helmets.
Yeah,
somebody had a
magazine
tied or taped to his shins. Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. Which goes into my point about Mr. Ducksworth being a good guy because he donated that $15,000 to fully equip the team and sponsor him. So.
Well, and again, he does it for a reason because it's like I don't think he did it out of the goodness of his heart. He's like, well,
True.
It's good publicity for you.
It's good press. Yeah.
The one of the funnier scenes was when they're rollerblading in the Mall of America, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was good.
It's cool for a bunch of kids playing around. You know what I mean? I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's a cute movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
About a bunch of kids having fun.
No. What were you gonna say? What do I like?
Yeah. What'd you like or dislike?
Like you said, I thought it was a good movie as far as with the kids and them overcoming adversity and things like that.
And also too the coach Riley. He's ruthless.
Ruthless, absolutely.
He's definitely a great bad guy. Where he says to Gordon, you could have been one of the greats, and he's like now look at yourself. You're a never was. That's one of my quotes.
He goes, let's see. I have that. You're not even a has-been. You are never was.
Yeah,
that's pretty that's pretty deep, man. That cuts deep.
Because he missed a penalty shot when he was 9.
I wanted to get into that. Okay.
Yeah.
So did Gordon really lose the game for them?
No, the coach lost the game.
Well, yeah, but there was still more game that was played after that penalty shot. It was a tie game. You can't win or lose. You know what I'm saying? They said it was tied. It was a championship game, so it's not going to end on a tie. And he takes his penalty shots. He misses it. He hits the post.
Mm-hmm.
But they then later explain in the movie that they lost in overtime.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't make the shot. Okay, well, maybe his teammates should help pick him up.
Yeah. Well, and again, they go through the same thing where they have the penalty shot and he gives it to Charlie after he just missed,
Right.
and he gave him those words of encouragement to to take that last shot and basically ultimately win the game.
Right.
Which another thing that a quick note that bothers me is that he took the shot without a helmet on. And that I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't notice that.
I don't know why. I was like, I find that kind of weird. He's taking the penalty shot. I mean, granted, I know it's just a penalty shot. There's no one coming after him. But
yeah, but you should
I think in the
flashback
on. I just again these little details that just bothered me. In my last year in high school, I took 2 film classes on my senior year, which is, I needless to say, it was an easy senior year.
Nice.
And they were back to back, and
nice.
it was film interpretation. Shout out Capone as a teacher, and it was 20th century film. I forget the teacher I had there, but so there were 2 film classes, and the first one, film interpretation, was all about looking at some of the the camera angles and certain details that were pointed out, which is kind of why I wanted to do this podcast, because I notice a lot more now when you actually look into
that class.
Yeah, and looking into the background, certain camera angles, the way they're the way they have the camera lighting,
right?
So it's
it all takes into account, like, the effect of the movie. And
you don't think about it because you're just watching it, but
no, but I think if it's done right, it's meant to not. Well, if it's done right, then you don't notice it. You don't.
You're right.
You know what
I'm
saying? Like, you're into the movie so much that you don't notice, like, the little things. Or I shouldn't say that. You notice the little things, and you notice how good it is. Yeah. So to answer your question, that about Coach Riley really bothered me. And basically how he put all this pressure on a 9-year-old to win the game on a penalty shot.
Yep.
And he was just a huge dick throughout the movie. I understand why they did that, but he was just a jerk off, I think.
You tend to use that word a lot. You know that, right?
Do I? I love that word. I don't know why. I was just like, hey, to call somebody a jerk off to me is like,
that's like
deep, real insulting. Yeah, it cuts deep. But no, it was good in the end, and I like it. I like it.
Do we want to go into ratings?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's run this way.
Let's do it.
So, like I said, again, for the reasons why I didn't like it, with the hockey play, the storyline. Again, it's very, a lot of the reviews I looked up on IMDb.
Yeah. DB.
I still say it wrong.
I know what you're talking about, bud.
You know what I'm talking about. And a lot of them had good points about some of the reviews. It's basically like a Bad News Bears, but on the rink.
Yeah. I could see that.
But again, I also, like I said, I love the cast. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give it a 7.8.
Wow. Okay.
That's my rating, and
I had a feeling you were gonna go higher with that. That was just my gut, but I guess my gut was wrong. Yeah, I thought you were gonna go maybe in the.
I did kind of. I went through it. I did kind of like an average. I was given like a score for certain categories, so I was like,
"Oh wow!" Cast. So you have like a method.
Yeah, I had. Yeah, no, I kind of break it down a little bit. Cast and crew.
Yeah.
This score, storyline. This.
Do you how many categories do you have?
I think it varies, Steve. I don't know. I think it was like
it's not consistent every time we do this.
No, so I think it was 3. I think I went over like the cast, and then I think one of them was the story, and then I think the other one might have been like the theme. Okay. Like how Rudy's kind of like very inspirational, but that's what I came up with. 7.8.
7.8.
That's my grading method.
I'm gonna go, and I respect that. I'm gonna go a little
Thank you.
lower.
Okay.
I'm gonna do like a 7.1. I like the movie. I really do. It was good for me to watch it again. It, brought back some nostalgia. Just growing up, I've seen the movie a couple times.
Yeah.
It's not a movie where I'm like, oh, I gotta watch Mighty Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
Every so often. So,
Well,
um,
and I kind of compare it to another movie. So like the first two, we love Harry Potter. I'll go down this role.
oh wow,
And
never seen it.
oh my god. Well, it's funny too because Casey never seen any of the movies too. I've seen them all, and I kind
Okay.
of got her hooked on them. She watched a
Okay.
certain movie, but anyways, where I was going with this is the first two Harry Potter movies. For anyone who hasn't seen Harry Potter or has, they'll agree with me. Is they're not that great. They're cute because they're young, they're they're immature. It goes the same way way the Mighty Ducks goes. You know what I mean? It's a cute film.
Okay.
But then once you hit that third movie, like the storyline changes and it gets like a lot darker. You find out like a good part of the a good chunk of why everything's happening.
You're still talking about Harry Potter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So again, this goes where like the first two Harry Potter movies are good, but they're kind of cute. They're a little corny because they're young, and that's kind of why I go with this movie.
Okay.
And then this is kind of why I say the second one is a little bit better because they're a lot older. Hockey play is a lot better. You see a lot more hockey play. Some of the themes are a little more as an adult, at least for the kids.
Right.
IMDb gave this a 6.5.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, we're also rating it more than them. So
interesting. We're higher than the average. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't like the movie. It's just
if it's on TV, I'm gonna leave it on. You know what I mean? If I'm flipping through I think so. If I'm flipping through the stations and I come across it and there's nothing else on, I mean, sure, I'll leave it on.
Yeah. I mean, I might. I don't even know if I'd do that, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, again, we're all entitled to our an opinion.
I love it. Yeah.
Should we talk about our next movie?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
So we put the polls out there.
Yep.
We had Hoosiers going up against White Men Can't Jump.
Yep, we're doing a basketball theme.
Yep, we're kind of cycle through these sports. And we got a little bit more votes. I kind of lost some of them in the Instagram story, but I have a good idea, with the Facebook one as well. So we got 12 votes for Hoosiers and 20 for White Men Can't Jump. So
which I'm kind of, again, haven't seen Hoosiers. I'm gonna get a lot of feedback on that. I'm sure a lot of kickback on that.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen White Man Can't Jump.
I haven't seen either one of them. So
all right, well there you go. I'm gonna watch Hoosiers. We're gonna do Hoosiers at some point.
Yeah, we'll eventually come back around.
I gotta say, from everything I hear, it's a classic movie, and it's something that should be watched.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the people have spoken. They want us to talk about White Men Can't Jump next week, and let's do that.
Absolutely.
I like the movie. It's a good comedy.
I'm actually excited. Like I said, I'm excited to go through some of these classic sports movies and actually see some of these and see something new.
Yeah.
Trying to look on Netflix or an HBO or all those streaming platforms to try to find something new and it's rough. You end up going to the same programs, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you go to the comfort, what you know.
Yep.
You go to what you know.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully this will open some people's eyes, or maybe look at something in a different perspective. Maybe we're opening up some people's minds here.
Yep,
I'm
absolutely.
all about having an open mind. So, but we do appreciate everyone listening so far. Tell your friends, tell your family.
You got to spread the word.
Spread the word.
I want to thank all you guys for all the reviews, the ratings, and keeping up with the discussions in the Facebook group.
It definitely helps. Yeah. When you are, it's most of you doing the posting, Frank, and shout out to Frank for doing that. But people respond, and that's great. I love to see the interaction.
Yeah, we're good. Like I said, the episodes will be coming out every Monday.
Yeah,
and I will be putting up the polls on Tuesday.
Yep, Monday for the episode, Tuesday for the polls, and they last most of the week.
So make sure everyone votes.
Yeah, vote.
I don't want to hear anybody crying because we didn't do their favorite golf movie next week.
There you go. There you go. Right.
Please.
Where can they find us, Frank, on the social media?
They can find us at Locker Room Flicks Podcast and on Instagram as well. And don't forget to email Steven.
lockerroomflicks@gmail.com. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you next week.